is a civic duty. Let's register on the electoral list. This is a message from Equinoxe Television.
To all of you faithful viewers of Equinoxe Television, thank you so much for joining us on this other edition of the news. Our major stories tonight: over 1.4 billion Catholic Christians from today anxiously wait for the next successor of Saint Peter. Over 100 cardinals from 70 countries, 18 from Africa, are now casting votes to elect the new head of the Roman Catholic Church. The College of Cardinals walked solemnly into the Sistine Chapel earlier today, reciting the litany of the saints, praying for divine direction. We will be telling you on the mobilization at the Vatican and the expectations of Catholic Christians in this news edition. Viewers, this is our major lead story tonight. We bring to you details and more when we come back. Welcome back, viewers. Thank you so much for the confidence. We take you right away to the Vatican as the College of Cardinals gathers in Rome. All eyes are on the Vatican, where 133 cardinals will elect the next leader of the Roman Catholic Church. This marks a pivotal moment in the history of the Catholic Church. Immaculate Folk will report on day one of the conclave today.
The cardinals begin their secretive process, starting with a final mass at the St. Peter's Basilica. The Dean of the College of Cardinals, Giovanni Battista Re, is celebrating the mass to pray that the 133 cardinals find wisdom, good counsel and understanding as they enter the Sistine Chapel to begin casting their first ballots. This conclave is one of the most geographically diverse in history, with cardinals from 70 countries participating. Once at the Sistine Chapel, the pledge to maintain secrecy about what is about to transpire and not to allow any interference, opposition, or any other form of intervention from outsiders to influence their voting. Anyone not eligible to vote then leaves and the chapel doors closes. The first vote is expected by Wednesday evening. The voting process follows a strict procedure dictated by the Church's law. Each cardinal writes his choice on a paper inscribed with the words "Eligo in summum pontificem," which means
I elect as Supreme Pontiff.
They approach the altar one by one and say,
I call as my witness Christ the Lord, who will be my judge, that my vote is given to the one who before God I think should be elected.
After tipping the folded ballot into an oval silver and gold urn, the ballots are opened one by 3 different scrutineers, cardinals selected at random, who writes down the names and read them aloud. As the scrutineers read out each name, he pierces each ballot with a needle through the word "eligo" and binds them with thread and ties a knot. The ballots are then put aside and burnt in the chapel stove along with a chemical to produce either black smoke to signal no winner or white smoke to announce that a new pope has been elected. From Thursday, up to 2 ballots can be held in the morning and 2 in the afternoon until a winner is found. The world waits with anticipation to see who will be the next leader of the Catholic Church.
Still on the conclave, which began today, the Vatican is busy with anticipation as faithful pilgrims and media from around the world converge on Rome. In Cameroon and beyond, all eyes are on the unfolding event. The Catholic Church is poised to write a new chapter in its history. The atmosphere is electric in Rome, with pilgrims and media representatives from diverse backgrounds coming together to witness this significant moment. For me, I'm Chang that tells us more.
The Vatican City is abreast with anticipation as faithful pilgrims and the media from around the world converge on Rome. In Cameroon and beyond, all eyes are on the unfolding event. The Catholic Church is poised to write a new chapter in its history, and the hierarchy has sent representatives to capture the essence of this moment. St. Peter's Square is a melting point of languages, prayers and hopes. The Sistine Chapel has become the beating heart of the Universal Church, hosting one of the most mysterious and symbolic events in the Catholic world. Tourists and pilgrims alike share their thoughts on the conclave, revealing the significance of this moment for them.
Hello, I'm from Austria, and I hope this Cardinal Sarah, the next Pope. This is the really Pope for the future.
And I hope that the Conclave bring a new, strong Papst, that the Church had many things to do for the people, and there must be a very strong Papa.
The conclave holds special significance for Africa, where expectations are high. Many hope for the election of an African Pope, symbolizing a spiritual turning point. Others desire a church that is more attuned to social realities such as poverty, conflict, and the search for direction among the youth. As the conclave unfolds, Africa prays, hopes, and remains attentive.
Now, according to the Catholic tradition, the Pope, as the Vicar of Christ and Bishop of Rome, possesses supreme, immediate, and universal power over the Church. This authority encompasses all aspects of church governance, including matters of faith, morals, and discipline. What then does the Pope represent, and what are his powers? Lucy Liengu is here, has more.
The Pope serves as the Bishop of Rome and stands at the helm of the Catholic Church worldwide, a position that encompasses both religious and political authority. He is the head of the Holy See, which represents the Church's central governance, and he is tasked with steering the faithful on essential matters of faith and morality. This authority stems from the belief that he is a legitimate successor of St. Peter, the first apostle of Jesus, which endows him with a distinctive role within the ecclesiastical framework. Known as the Holy Father, the Pope holds the ultimate authority on issues pertaining to doctrine, morals, and ecclesiastical law. According to the Catholic tradition, he is considered infallible when he teaches on matters of faith and morals, a doctrine that underscores his pivotal role in shaping the beliefs and practices of approximately 1.3 billion Catholics worldwide. The Sovereign Pontiff possesses the power to enact laws, enforce them, and interpret their meanings, ensuring that the Church remains aligned with its core values. He can convene ecumenical councils which bring together bishops from across the globe to deliberate on pressing issues that affect the Church and its followers. In addition to his religious duties, the Pope plays a vital role in international relations, resonates on various social and moral issues as he advocates for justice and peace in a world facing numerous crises. The election of the Pope is a solemn and highly ritualized process. After his death, the cardinals, who are the highest-ranking bishops, convene in the Sistine Chapel for a conclave.
You must have noticed, viewers, Equinoxe Television is at the Vatican, and we'll be bringing to you updates as the conclave continues in the Sistine Chapel. Now we talk something else. As construction works on the Sancho Chang road continue to advance somehow timidly, drivers that ply the road unofficially say the suffering is enormous. The rehabilitation of the road was presently given to a Chinese company, and with the rains, the road is now impassable, forcing some cars and commercial motorbike riders to get stuck in the mud. Manjikan Gabriel reports.
One of the bulldozers from the China firm in charge of constructing the broken end of the road at Conclave, struggling to push a car that is stuck in mud. A commercial motorbike on the ground due to the muddy state of the road. These are some of the problems faced by users of the broken end of the Conclave road, which is under construction. I suffered to reach here, but thank God There were people who pushed me up to this level. When it rains, passing through the broken section, which is 400 meters long, is a veritable problem to the road users. Many people are now begging on the enterprise to accelerate the ongoing work. We are suffering too much. Every day we fall from our bike. Even the fence they have put is not helping. I fell down the other day. All of my body was covered with mud. I was with a passenger when I fell. The bike went its own direction. We went our own direction. The stretch of the road from Sancho to Chang is officially not opened, according to a media release signed by the governor of West Region, Awafonka Augustine, with a gendarmerie control post erected, but the state of the road remains troublesome as it rains.
In other news, the Far North Youth Platform for Emergence in Turbulent Waves has clarified that it has never collected a sum of 1,300,000 francs CFA from the President of the Republic or from anyone else to finance its initiative to rally 100,000 youths behind President Paul Biya for the upcoming election in the country. Muhammadu Atiku Kauda clarified and reiterated this in a press conference in Marwa. This is happening at the time youths in the region demand their peers to stay away from the said initiative. Innocent Aze has more.
Muhammadu Atiku Kauda, coordinator of the Youth Platform for Emergence in the Far North region, declares that over 100,000 youth have been gathered in the 6 divisions of the region to support President Paul Biya's possible candidacy for the forthcoming presidential election.
Nous avons explosé et dépassé nos 100,000 jeunes.
While a rally is previewed on May 10 at the Marwa ceremonial ground, the National Assembly President indicates that the mobilized youth by the team on the field are not endorsed to be part of the event. Muhammadu Atiku Kauda states that they have never said they will mobilize 100,000 persons on the ceremonial ground. On the subject of financing of the initiative that has brought widespread controversy, even right within the CPDM party, the organizers clarified and reiterated they have received no dime from the President of the Republic.
Où se trouvent les 1,3 milliard?
We only discovered on social media that the sum of 1,300,000,000 francs CFA was disbursed to the Youth Platform for Emergence. It is not true. No franc was given to us. It is far from being real.
C'est très beau pour être vrai. Nous n'avons reçu un franc de personne.
In the meantime, the organizers announced the subvention of several youth projects.
Le très honorable président de l'Assemblée nationale,
Honorable Mariam Goni, CPDM MP, says they have tried initiating a selection of at least a youth into the poultry, plantation agriculture and entrepreneurial sectors.
Un jeune agriculteur, un jeune entrepreneur.
When the initiative was announced, she opposed up to the CPDM Central Committee demanding its suspension. Other youths in the same region had announced a counter-mobilization to this initiative and invited the youth in these parts of Cameroon to break up from such a crazy initiative.
Meantime, Cameroon continues to struggle with waste management amid financial constraints. According to experts, the establishment of waste management centers in major cities in the country and the civility of the local population can go a long way to limit poor waste disposal. Mala Glory reports.
Despite ongoing efforts by the government, poor waste management continue to pose serious challenges in major cities across Cameroon. Authorities have advanced several arguments to explain the situation.
Une faible structuration de la précollecte.
A low level of waste collection of at least 50% in Yaoundé, 65 to 70% in Douala, lack of infrastructure for waste management, and incivility amongst the population.
C'est de valorisation l'incivisme notoire des populations.
However, beyond the reasons cited by the state authorities, financial constraint remain a central issue. This was recently underlined during a waste management scandal in Yaoundé, when lack of funding was highlighted as a key obstacle and its resolution proposed as part of the solution.
Il nous faut environ 70 milliards.
We need about 70 billion to manage waste collection in Yaoundé. Once this waste is not collected and services paid the way we plan, the problem of waste management will persist in the city.
Ville aura toujours des immondices.
Just like Yaoundé, other towns and cities in the country equally need attention.
We
have about 100 tons of waste collected yearly, with about 5 million that has been budgeted, where the government is responsible for half of the work, while part is done by partners. Due to the unavailability of funds, municipalities are turning to stakeholders for partnership in a bid to better sensitize the population. It is imperative for each and everyone to collect and dispose of their waste material. We have equally emphasized on the need of the creation of a waste management center. The just ended meeting in Yaoundé for actors in waste management was intended to provide a lasting solution to the waste problem in the country. This includes defining those responsible for sanitation and adopting a secular approach to waste management.
And now, before we move on to the second part of the news, just to let you know that the British High Commissioner to Cameroon is currently on a working visit to Douala and the littoral region. In one of his stopovers at the Global Language Center, His Excellency Matthew Woods said his visit is to encourage the educational ties that the Cameroon government enjoys with his country, Britain, and said Cameroon is in good relationship with the government. Reasons for their actions. Matt Woods also added that studying the English language is very important because English is globally spoken. Let's now listen to Matt Woods in this excerpt.
I think the work that the Centre does in terms of English language teaching and exams administration is super important for the bilateral relationship. And by that, what I mean is it's super important in terms of being able to bring together Cameroonians and British people. I often talk about bilateral relationships being about not the relationships between governments and countries, but between the people of those places. And I think the opportunity to come here, to learn English, to take exams, to open up the world of possibilities for young people, it's such an important thing to do. And I suppose if I were to branch it out into two other areas, I would talk about business and win-win economic partnerships, which again, you know, who makes that happen? It's people that make that happen, right? And it's knowledge of each other. And the second is in the sort of climate and nature area. So how can we work together to preserve this amazing, you know, Congo basin forest, and how can we make sure that people have opportunities and economic opportunities and livelihoods that they can live their lives and also preserve the forest. So those, I think, are probably the other two main areas of collaboration. But honestly, starting with people and starting with how you bring people together is a great way to understand what we're about here.
And viewers, that does it for the first part of the news. Right away, let's move on to talking points. You don't go anywhere. Welcome back, viewers. Our guest tonight is Reverend Father Christopher GEH KUM. He is the youth chaplain of the Douala Archdiocese and also the chaplain of the Catholic Women Association of the Douala Archdiocese. Father, thank you so much for accepting to be our guest and talking point tonight. Now we are going to the Vatican. 133 cardinals from 70 countries are presently in the Sistine Chapel to elect the new Pope to head the Roman Catholic Church. The over 1.4 billion Christians across the world are anxiously waiting for when the big announcement will be made. Father Christopher, tell us, how significant is this period of waiting or waiting period to Catholic Christians?
I am so happy that we are waiting for the Lord. It took a mysterious time. People thought that it was taking so long. But finally Jesus came. We killed him. Waiting does not mean that we will love to continue to be faithful. But it is a very special time. God is telling us to be focused to the divinity, his own, that is his representative on earth. It is heaven that will decide. And it is a way of evangelization of Christ's church on earth. Because this church is too powerful that nothing in this world can shake it. Jesus himself said it in the book of Matthew chapter 16 from verse 17 to 20. He said, Peter, on you I found my church, and the keys of the kingdom of heaven is with you. Since the Pope died, the world is calm. Since the Pope died, it is such a glorious moment. It seems as if heaven has opened and things are happening. The way I feel, that man is already in heaven. To go back to that father. But when he was in this world, people persecuted him. They insulted him, insulting the Catholic Church. But I pity, because whether you like it or not, the mission goes ahead. And now the bishops, they don't make noise. The cardinals are fulfilling the ministry, where Peter and the rest of the 11, they joined with the Blessed Virgin Mary in Acts of the Apostles chapter 1 verse 14. They were gathering and they had to elect someone to replace Judas Iscariot. And today, the Catholic doctrine says when this election goes in only when the Pope dies or when he resigns, another Pope is to be elected without noise. That is why we want the world to know that election is without noise. They don't come out in the street to start campaigning like the world does. That is God, and my daughter. And people should know that, because in our workplaces we fight to be this, to be seen. No, the church does not want to be seen. You don't even know what is happening in there. They are in prayers, and the Holy Spirit will come and choose the one who will lead. Even though they will send us that leader, like Peter took over, they killed him in Rome. It is still in that Rome that Christ, that blood was settled. And they will come, and sooner or later, we are waiting for the white smoke. It will be wonderful.
There is this hope which is alive in many Catholics on the African continent that a new Pope can come from Africa this time around. Why not? There are 18 African cardinals in the Sistine Chapel as we speak. If the new successor of St. Peter is from an African country, will there be any significant changes, or the church remains universal? Can make a difference.
The Pope from Africa can make a wonderful Pope, because we still keep the fresh tradition of the people of God. We are still too deep in the way we believe. We have cardinals that are capable of being a Pope. But if God, Jesus, decides otherwise, we accept, because the church accepts what Jesus Christ has given. Because we don't believe that coming out from the Sistine Chapel is a human making. No, it is the person Jesus and the Holy Spirit has chosen. So we're trying to think whether it's a black or this. We take what God has given us, because it's not a human election. It is a divine happening. You understand? Yeah, but this polemics about being a black or this, it enters into politics. The church is not a political body. The church is a divine, and we believe that everything that is there is divine. Only we who are weak and human beings. And it can happen that a black comes out, but that's fine. But it's not that matter of fighting up and down, commenting here and there. That's not how the church functions. When you go down to that level, it means you don't understand anything. But the church will give us, because they did not say black cardinal, go out. And the black cardinals are not complaining that they are discriminating against them. They are the ones voting. So if it falls on you, why should I begin to say something that I cannot do? They are the ones electing, and they have never said, cardinals, go out. Let only this particular one vote. No. Those who are not eligible are those who are above 80. Yes, so you go back to your country. But those who are active, they are handling the nations, they are handling missions, they are handling things. They have never said that they are not cardinals. No. And the Pope does not say, I will only make cardinals from this particular continent. We have cardinals in Africa who are capable, who can lead the church because they participate in the universal building of the Word of God. So we are expecting the Pope who will be fit, to lead the church to another angle. Who knows? It may be a black, it may be a white, or whosoever, but it is God's choice that matters.
Thank you, Father. Now to this other question, which can be somehow tricky. What do you think should be the personality or characteristics of the new Pope? Like, what are some of the expectations of Catholic Christians as the wait for the end of the papal election?
Yeah, I'm praying. The prayers I'm making now is that the Pope that will be elected, let him be the actualized Pope with the recent happenings to come and demolish any negative thing that is fighting against the church, denying those things that we are trying to import into the church. The church rules against the decision that blessing homosexual was something important. No, we should take the position of the church. The new Pope should be able to say no to what the world is trying to impose in that. The satanic practices that they are trying to bring into the church or brainwash the church, the Pope should come out and bring the church to the realities of nowadays, using the dogma, but actualizing the church in the world of today, and having a position of the church. So the media will not say something, and when the Pope wants to answer, he caresses. No, he should have a position that will favor Christ. Nothing else. That is what I think it will bring the church to the new birth that we are waiting for, because sometimes we wait for answers, and when you don't take a position, your position to favor the church, no matter whether it is your mother or father, you favor but Christ and the church, because if not, it's a sin, and it can bring the church to many problems.
Father Christopher, you are the youth chaplain of the Archdiocese of Douala, and you are also the chaplain of the Catholic Women's Association. So the flock in your care is a huge one. What spiritual guidelines can you give them and all the Christians watching us tonight?
Yes, I want to tell the world that without God you can do nothing, and that you should not waste your time cracking down on what the church is giving you. Nobody can handle the church negatively, and it works. Nothing. It is the church that rules the society. It's not the society that commands the church. No, because the church is Christ's institution. Whether people they talk against the Catholic Church, the persecution that they face is their breathing force. When you persecute the church, it breathes better. It breathes better, because it becomes more solid. It becomes solid. So don't think that when you persecute the church will die. It can never die. But when you don't persecute the church, it will die very soon. But when it is persecuted, I tell you, carry your cross and follow me. That is the image of the church. But that's where the force lies, and it cannot crack it down.
Thank you so much, Father, for making time to talk to us on the news this evening.
I'm so happy. You are my daughter, and each time you come, I smile. I'm happy and I'm inspired. So I thank God for Equinoxe, because you are doing a wonderful job. Equinoxe is teaching the society that you cannot, bring lies. Equinoxe is one of the TV houses that is saving Cameroon. They want to bring out justice and the truth, and I pray that you should continue. Don't soil your hands. When you want to interpret anything, especially about the church, they should be truthful. Don't mix anything that the church says.
Thank you again, Father. Just to let our viewers again know that you are also an author, and your last publication is From the slums to priesthood, which was launched alongside the celebration of your several years serving in the Lord's vineyard. Thank you and hope to have you again some other time. Viewers, that does it for this edition of the news. That was what we put together for you this evening. Our programs continue. Equinoxe comes up at 7 p.m. and the news in the French language with Irij Ngonomala. That will be at 8 p.m. Stay with us on Equinoxe Television. Bye-bye for now and see you tomorrow, same time, God willing.